Welcome back to Whitt Acres. This is going to be our 4th weekly garden tour here of the gardens, where we are growing food, flowers, and everything in between. If you are just joining us, we are growing here in Zone 6A, southwestern Pennsylvania. So if you see anything you like and you're in this area, then you can grow it too. This week we're going to be starting with the food forest and the vegetable garden, and then I'll take you around and show you what's blooming in all the other gardens at this time. Let's get started. In this entrance of the food forest, this week I planted a calendula on either side flanking the entrance. My biggest problem this week has been birds. They ended up eating my haskap honeyberries, so I'm going to need to net over my blueberries before the birds start eating those, because they are coming into ripeness real soon. I've just been pruning out here. You can see the herb bed's looking really nice. This is the one with no core in it. I have not watered these at all yet. Like I said, I've just been cutting the big leaves off the peppers there to try and get them started, show them signs of growth. And then the tomatoes over here, I've just been pruning up the single stem method so they can get taller and start producing. Oh, I missed some suckers here. I'm just trying to get them up onto the Florida weave trellis system I'm using this year, so they can start, once they start producing their flowers, then producing their fruit, they actually have some stabilization to hold them up. So there's not much going on. The peppers aren't flowering yet here. Calendula is starting to flower in different places, and I thinned my okra down to about 3 inches. Until they can start getting a little bit bigger, I might thin them a little bit more. I think they get pretty big, so we'll see what I have to thin them down to. My potatoes are looking great. I tried to get them into a method of just planting them once and not doing any hilling with the straw. You just want to take the straw, push it up all along the stems, so just a little bit of the potato is sticking out. I've already done it twice so far, and the potatoes just keep growing, so I might have to do it one more time before they start flowering. You can see I got a peanut bag on one of my currants, because my currants are really close to being ready. There's actually one down here that's already starting to tinge some color. You can see right there, color. So I need to cover up this currant as well, because I really enjoyed those currants last year. So I need to get more bags like that, or some mesh. Over here I have the mesh on the strawberries because they are ripening up right now. I'm trying to keep them covered from the birds, but the wind's blowing it all around. I need to do a little bit better with that. Take you in here and you can see definitely getting some strawberries ripening up. Looking really good out here in the strawberry bed. If the birds would just share, I'd let them have some, but they're pretty greedy, aren't they, pup? Over here in the pink strawberry bed, I got some flowers, but I think the birds get those before they're even close to being ready. The tomatoes and the tomatillos are starting to show some life. They're just starting to reach, really. I got them up onto the second line, some of them, and the basil's looking all good. I've been picking off the basil as it's trying to flower. But I don't have anything going on yet. They're just starting to put on flowers. I actually got some huckleberries growing here. That's nice. Are they gonna focus? Yeah, look at those huckleberries growing. Never had that before, but we're gonna try some huckleberries this year. Over here, we'll start off with a green grape tomato. It's got some discoloring on it, but I don't know why that is. Pick off a sucker. I've been trying to shorten the side branchings of the leaves like this. I take the tip off so it stops putting in any horizontal growth. I actually missed this green grape, it looks like. I'm trying to end all horizontal growth so it can put in all vertical growth going up the trellis. So the San Marzanos going down are all looking a lot healthier. They're really setting in root. I did lose one of my blueberries. My blueberries cherry tomato. Lost that one. And this tomato's falling over. I can't hold it up. Yeah. Stay on your feet, guy. I have to get another stake for that one. But I have 3 more blueberries, tomatoes right there. So I took a sucker off of those, trimmed it down, and I stuffed it in the soil right here. So we're gonna see, follow along in the weekly tours, and we'll see if that works right now, just shoving that in the ground. I know it works using it in nice potting soil cups and keeping it moist out of the sun, but we're gonna see if it works out here in the landscape. This blueberries, tomatoes, they're starting to put on some fruit. You can see one right there. That's the furthest one along. I think it's supposed to get a little bit darker and probably softer because it's pretty firm right now. Got another one coming on this one, a little baby one. So I should be getting some fruit here in a little while. Try and swing around slowly here so you can see that I am getting some germination on my lima beans and my Blue Lake bush beans. And I put in some other beans in here because I didn't think my Blue Lakes were going to come up. So I'm not sure if this is the Blue Lake and this is the other bean, but either way, some of them are getting topped. Something's eating the top right off of these. So I am going to be dusting this with Captain Jack's dead bug to try and prevent anything from eating them before they can give me something to eat. Right here is one of my spineless perfection zucchinis, and you can see a little baby zucchini right there. So it's really exciting right now. This time of year we are on the brink of food production. We got these early grow tomatoes over here, trying to single stem these up. Looks like I'm getting some fruit set right there, and I already got some fruit set on this one. Very exciting. Coming out here, out the other entrance, you can see this nice row on the back side of the island. Oh, we got baby bird. Oh, we got baby robin. Little baby robin running away. Mama robin. I'm not gonna hurt her. But yeah, you can see that little baby robin right there, running out and down into coverage. Not sure where she came from, but where she is right along my orange daylily hedge here. You can see all the stalks pointing up, so I'm going to get some nice color off of those. And the yucca is starting to throw up a bloom right there. Kind of want to know where that baby came from. Just going to peek in here, not trying to scare it. We got birds' nests all over, and right now all the birds are starting to hatch. Puppy's been finding little baby robins all over the property, and he likes to follow them and see what they're doing. This right here, I don't know if you guys have ever seen one. If you look real close, it looks just like ragweed, but it's not. This is a tree marigold, giant tree marigold. It gets about 10 feet tall. It's like a bamboo sunflower looking thing, and it's gonna look pretty good because it's actually taking a foothold this year, and I'm hoping it gets to its full glory later on. Coming down from the poplar bed along the driveway, you can see all the lilies are shooting up shoots, so they'll be blooming this year, putting on a nice show along the driveway of orange with the pink driveway pots behind it. Pink driveway pots are supposed to be having centerpiece canna lilies, but we planted bulbs in there and the bulbs are not coming up. So we should have went with straight already living plants, but might have to change them out. We'll see. This is the only lily here without a shoot on it. That one's probably got crushed by a rock because the dogs come and dig in this wall and they knock the rocks down onto the plant. So that one probably got crushed. I'll take you over here to the pergola where the honeysuckle's in full bloom. This honeysuckle is just latent in flowers. Look at that full coverage of yellow and white flowers. It smells and looks beautiful right now. It is the fullest vine out here, that's for sure. And it's taken over its post like it knows where it's supposed to be. The silver lace vine, it has no idea. It wants more space. So it's all haywire up there. I'm thinking of taking another piece of Durowall channel and wrapping it around here to try and get some type of archway going. because that silver lace vine needs some more room. On the left center post, I have a purple passion vine, or blue passion. It's got some flower buds here, and it's starting to run up the trellis I put it on. So maybe next week we'll get some blooms off of that thing. The red trumpet vine is growing pretty nice. Hopefully we'll get some blooms off of her soon. Crespo squash is still alive in the dahlia bed. We're getting some volunteer dahlias coming back. Didn't lose 100%, but we lost the majority. And then I had a bullet head melon squash planted there, and it got eaten this week. Over here, the potato vine and the gherkins and the jelly melon are just starting to grab onto the lattice. I got to come out here and just poke them through the lattice each day. These gourds, I actually threw a blueberries tomato in here. I had an extra one, just threw it there. And then the eggplant is, I have 2 eggplants here. I have 4 Mexican sour gherkins and some calendula planted along here. And then I even threw in some red Malabar spinach seeds to cover this lattice here. Behind that, we have a small little patch of pumpkin on a stick, which that is going to be a nice little decoration for the fall. On the inside, the broccoli is still going, even though we're in pretty 90-degree days here. I already harvested a nice center broccoli off of this, so I'm getting some nice small shoots for broccoli. I got pak choi going to seed right here. I can probably harvest those seeds. Are these edible too? Oh, they taste like pak choi, so you can probably eat the seeds, just like radish seeds. Here we go. We got some more. I already harvested the top one there, and we're getting some more side shoot broccoli. This one is starting to perform as well. So I might actually have some broccoli. I might harvest some broccoli tonight. Maybe. Got a cauliflower right there. It's splitting. So I'm going to have to harvest this one tonight because it looks almost too far gone already. Coming down to the garden, I moved our dog house over a little bit, and I edged out the yard to be a better little scalloped edge here, more even. And then my dad still went ahead and sprayed the edge of the yard and made it look pretty bad, being dead and brown, even though I spent all the time with a flat shovel out here in the sun, cutting it and making it straight and pretty. Pretty like the square foot garden I have here. The onions are doing amazing, and all the lettuce and greens are doing so good. I need to harvest them again. This will probably be, when I do a harvest this time, I think I'll probably be at about 8 pounds of lettuce and greens coming out of this raised bed alone. All the rest over there are just starting to take off. I've got a couple radishes there I could harvest, but the beets and turnips and everything are still taking their time. In here I have some squash, the zucchini and the yellow squash, and then my direct seeded yellow squash and zucchini are starting to come up nicely. The cabbage is starting to head up. You can see the leaves are starting to cup together. I don't know, it's taking forever on this stuff. We got another broccoli starting right there, a nice big one right there, and then I believe I even have a cauliflower head starting back here. See if I can get a look. Oh yeah, that's still a nice tight cauliflower head. That might be ready for harvest right there. In the pumpkin patch out here, you can see all my fabric got torn up. I believe a rabbit is coming in here at night and just scratching and tearing up all my fabric, trying to forage. I did get my giant pumpkin planted, so here she is, my big beautiful giant pumpkin. Got from Worldwide Giant Growers. I forget which variety this one is, but this is the one I'm going with this year. You can see all the cucumber beetles already on there dead because we have a huge problem with them. So I had to dust that as soon as I planted it so I didn't wake up the next morning and have them all gone. Down here you can see the peas are massive. They're folding over the fence now, laying over. There are some peas started on there, and they're just getting started, so we can't really eat them yet. You can eat them like veal, I guess, but they're not ready to be fully plumped up yet. Out in the new raised beds, we got some good root vegetables going on. These radishes are pretty close to ready. I got some French dressing that are pretty close. Probably pick this one. Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and twist and pull. That's a little small, but it's right next to another one, so that other one can keep growing. But I've never tried a French dressing radish before, so I'm trying. These are 4 different kinds of radishes here. I'm just trying to see what I like. Kohlrabi's taking its sweet time. Onions are being onions. Over here I ended up cutting my Empress down completely and restarting. I got a nice growth right here. I go ahead and I pop off any of the suckers coming up, just like you would a tomato, because I want this to get straight and tall as possible before it starts branching out. So that sucker in there, so take your finger and break it off like that. So I'm gonna try and get that all nice and big this year. I got my squash going across the mound. All of it's starting to take hold and start reach down the mound there. I just go across every afternoon once it gets all warm and flexible. I bend them around and try and get them to come down this face of the mound instead of going around the backside. But they're all looking pretty good. I have some that didn't make it, and I already have the replacements getting started by the greenhouse. In the biggest bed, it's still pretty empty. I did direct sow some ground cherries in here, but we really haven't had much rain. I only watered it once, so might just have bad germination, or I need to still wait. I got some cherry tomatoes in here and some ground cherries on this side, as well as the onions. These onions are kind of trying to bulb up together here. I just have them for salad onions, so I don't need to give them much space. I already have plenty of bulbing onions planted for me this year. This is the other herb garden going on. They're both doing fairly well. No real noticeable difference yet. This one's got some weeds in it though. But yeah, this one has the core, straw garden core in it. You can see the bottom there sticking out. So we'll see during the hot summer which one performs better. One large container with a core or large container without. They're both filled exactly the same. You can check out that video above. In the butterfly bush bed here, the garlic is still garlicking. It actually has scapes. Dang, I got some big scapes on this thing. Should I be cutting these off? I think I'm supposed to be taking these scapes off. I don't know. Someone tell me down in the comment section below. These ones in the ground are pushing off scapes, but the ones in my raised bed are not yet. I do have one butterfly bush here blooming. This thing is still trying, even though it's making a comeback. It's making a comeback. We had to hard prune it way back. We thought it was dead, but it's making a comeback. We got my tree, large giant elephant ear. It's popping up right there. Keep an eye out for that. And now that all is the food update, we're going to take you around and show you what's blooming in the different gardens. So I'm going around, I'm going to try this radish. It's actually pretty spicy. Yeah, pretty spicy, but good flavor. I could put it in salads. On the island out here, the Blue Sea Riggium is what I think that is. It is probably 3.5 feet tall now, and it is looking good, ready to bloom. You can see I have some orange Asiatic lilies in the back. They're all about 4 feet tall. The irises are finishing up, and the purple alliums are completely done. I can cut those back. Even the white allium that came after the purple are finishing up. You can see one there. Here, the red wave petunia is doing beautiful. This thing came back from last year, self-seeded, or just grew from its own rootstock, but it usually dies in the winter of our frost. But it's back now, as well as the scarlet runner bean. You can see he's putting on some buds now, showing signs of growth. And the sweet pea, I can probably get onto the trellis now, which it probably doesn't matter. We'll see how it does, but we're pretty much into June here, and that sweet pea's past its time. The irises are just putting off a little bit more color. And I'm going to stay out of that vine area because I just found some poison ivy in there the other day. And I get that pretty bad, so I'm going to stay away. I got to weed out this walking path and get some pea gravel in here. The calla lilies I planted, they're all coming up. They're looking good. They're framing out a walkway that's not even designed in there yet. The pomegranate yarrow is putting on a nice show. I like this very bold color it has. Get in there, show you. It has such a nice, vibrant color, and I think it's going to do great. It has blooms all over it. Over here, the candy corn spirea, it is blooming as well. Coreopsis I plugged in there for a little bit of yellow color. And I've been calling this a smoke bush, and it is actually a bug bane. I found the tag for it a little while ago. We'll see. It's supposed to put up a little like spike, little flower spikes, but it hasn't done much yet, so we'll see. This little lemon sunrise, I think, daisy, starting to tinge out, but we'll see how she does. I think it's supposed to bloom all summer. With this area here, I don't really have a set plan yet because I need to prune that rhododendron back. I need to prune that burning bush back, this one hanging out here, and then I can actually get some shape to the area. We want to put another walking path and a sitting bench in there, so I want to try and get the structure, the main structure items in there first, and then I can start thinking of what perennials to put in there, what kind of light requirements they're going to need in there, and so forth. So I might just plant annuals in there for color this year, and then next year really go into the design of it for the perennials. The blue fescue is always looking good, and you come in here with this pot, and I think it's pretty good looking this year. You got the blue fescue, the variegated hosta, and a dahlia, as well as the potted hibiscus that's always blooming, a bloom every single day. I have all the dried gourds laying around it, and the inside of the pot is just popping off a bunch of red color, reds, yellows, and oranges, and I think that's looking on real nice. The poppy bed is full bloom right now of yellow. I think I might actually, I want to do something more with this poppy bed, but for now it's doing good early summer. This is what it's made for, full yellow. The 9 bark right above it, you can see the white blooms are starting to tinge red. Nice and pretty. We got the fungus on it though. You can see some type of fungus going on. Not sure. Might try and spray that with some daconil. Maybe. You need something. You can see how it's kind of misshapen. Not supposed to prune these very often, but we had to prune it for the location it's in, and now it's kind of misshapen. Got my dahlia that I cut last week. You can see the new sprouts starting to take off right there. It's really starting to branch out now, so it will have plenty more blooms than it would if I didn't pop it. Right here I did some new hanging baskets. They're 2 of the same. I have one here and one hanging over there. I have snapdragons in there, red baby nasturtium rose, red rose baby nasturtium. There's a little marigold in here. There's lemon basil and a vinca. So hopefully those pots will look pretty good. We'll see. Bought a new quick fire hydrangea. I'll find a spot for that. Over here you can see that we have extra tomatoes. I'm just using them as some green decoration right now, but this one is still trying to produce. Got a tomato on there, and then you can see a bunch extra tomatoes over here as well. Might have overdid my tomato sowing this year, maybe just a little bit. I got a couple new plants this week. I'll show you. Pop. Here's a variegated snake plant I got. There's a palm tree that I potted up this week or the last week. Here's a red monarda or bee balm that I just picked up today. I had one last year and it did not survive the winter, so I got another. And this beautiful thing right here is a pink lily. I don't know, does it have a real name? Oriental lily. No, It's just a pink oriental lily. But that's going to get about 3 to 4 feet tall, so I'm going to find a place for that. It'll probably stay in the pot until it's done blooming this year. We got a cotoneaster right there I picked up the other day, and some 2 coral bells I picked up today, as well as this butterfly bush. A butterfly bush. Still got some snapdragons that need to go out, and some petunias that need to go out. We got a new palm tree for the patio. And I got some extra peppers and herbs over here. Plenty of extra peppers and herbs. Don't know what to do with them right now. In my hanging basket straw flower, we can take a peek in and see the little baby robins still doing good. Got 3 of them in there. In the yellow straw flower, we have finch eggs. 2 little finch eggs in there, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on those, see if they hatch. Here is the front garden out here. You can see the knockout roses are starting to come into bloom. The dianthus is pretty much done, and the allium, white allium, are starting to bloom, which adds a little bit of color out here. You can see the large stretch up on the yuccas. They stretched at least 2 feet from last week. Look at them. If you saw last week's garden tour video, you saw these way down here. So those are going to be nice white flowers this year. Very showy. Here's another little rose. I believe this is a knockout rose. And it's blooming pretty nice for the size of it. I did add some canna lilies in here. I put in 3 yellow canna lilies, an orange, and a red one. The red one's not blooming yet. I have a couple coming up from bulb as well out here. And I also added some peppers. Some of these are sweet banana, jalapeno, and some bell peppers out here. Over here the peonies are just finishing up blooming. Still got the color in it, but I think they might only have 1 more or so left to open. Still, they look good for a while. Down here, the new addition as well is purple hyacinth bean vines. I got those, and they're just starting to grab on to climb the tree. I'm going to try and get them to fill out this tree, climb it up, and try and put a canopy on this tree this year. What I really wanted to show you, though, is the clematis on my mailbox trellis. Look how beautiful this is. Completely full all the way around. Covered the trellis perfectly, and I just can't get enough of it. Just beautiful. Hump up. Perfect. Let me see if that might be the thumbnail right there. Down in front of the rocks, we have a yellow lily, oriental lily, popping up and opening. The taller batch there, I believe, are going to be orange. So we'll finally get some color out front here. I got some gourds from my fall decorations that broke. I got some gourds popping up here. I wish I knew what kind of gourd they were, and I'd transplant them. I still might transplant them, but we'll see. Right here, I believe a bunch of sunflowers. Yep, and there's sunflowers and gourds coming up there too from my fall decorations. What are you doing, Pop? Watching them neighbors. Look how beautiful my Empress is getting. This is my tree's 3rd year of growth. This is a 3-year-old tree grown from seed. Right there, planted in the ground. This is a Royal Empress Palamonian tomatosa, and it is the world's fastest growing tree. Like I said, I grew this from seed, which is about the size of a flake of pepper, and this is year 3, and it is massive. I got 10-inch hands and can't even grab half of it. I think I love this tree. It's got a beautiful heart-shaped leaf. The bigger the tree gets, the smaller the leaf gets. So whenever this was first starting out, these leaves were 2 feet across. No joke. They get huge. Tell them, Pop. Back here is where I moved my hollyhocks because I didn't like where they were in the arborvitae line. I'm going to turn that into a hedge soon, or at some point. So I moved these to a more permanent location right here along the fence. Come on, puppy. Coming into the formal garden area, The blue jean baby Russian sage is blooming. You can just see a little bit of it right there. It's the first year for these, so they're not doing amazing. I got I believe this is a Better Home & Gardens Sarah Smiles yellow rose, and it's starting to show some color, which is nice. I think this area is working out right now. I'd like to get a bird bath in here, and then it'll be relatively complete. The petunias are growing right there under the red bud. Those are Paradise Proven Winners Paradise Super Petunias. You can see I got my hydrangea and holly line back in after the maple tree incident, and they have buds on them, but I did have to dig these up and put them back in. There's some yellow down in there, so they are definitely showing some signs of stuntedness. I don't know, they're struggling a little bit from being pulled out and put back into the ground. I'm going to give them a nice watering today and see if that'll help them along. But at least 2 of them are showing buds already. These 2, actually, yep, that's the first sign of buds right there. Looking good. So hopefully I didn't stun them too bad. They all have a little bit of yellow on them, but that's pretty much expected. Down here in the perennial garden, there isn't much to show you because it got smashed. And not much is going to bloom right now. We do have the foxglove blooming, which is looking pretty good, so I'll bring you in there. Foxglove just looks beautiful. I love the leopard print inside the trumpet style flower. Even the white one has a little bit of purple leopard splash in there. Little ink dots. Looks great. My ligularia there needs some water, it looks like. We've been having the promise of rain for the past couple days, and it's just not raining. It gives me like 1/10 of an inch and that's it. We're in here, and I'm just noticing this now, but we have some flower buds starting. That's good to see, even though this thing got smashed up a little bit by the tree. But should get some water on that because it looks like it has some flower buds starting. I did go ahead and replant this daisy in some compost, and I've been trying to keep it watered as well. It's struggling because the maple actually dug in and uprooted the whole plant ball, threw the root ball off to the side. So I got that replanted, as well as some more hollyhocks on this end of the bed to make a little bit of balance with the hollyhocks on the other end, which are a little bit bigger. These hollyhocks were planted by seed last year, and they grew last year and they overwintered, stayed green all the time, and then they started growing up again this year, and now they're going to bloom, it looks like. I believe this is a Carnival mix from Park Seeds, so we'll see. I don't know what colors they're going to be. It's going to be a mix, but you can see the damage. This one broke off right here. This one got broke, and then it re-healed itself, made it a 90 degree, and shot back up. So they're pretty hardy plants. They want to grow. They're fast growers, and these ones are going to bloom this year, so that's exciting. We're going to finish the garden tour out here at the Red Bank. Just show you the progress over the week, 1 week of planting these out here and what they're doing. We planted 219 annuals out here in the Red Bank this year, and the portulaca are just starting to show some color. There's some African daisies started to bloom, and the Chinese forget-me-nots are still in bloom, but the portulaca is really starting to show color all along the bottom of the mound there, which is nice. The marigolds we're still waiting on, but the petunias are really picking up some color, and the zinnias are still waiting on in the back, but I can definitely see some growth on those, so it will be a very short time from now that those will be blooming along with everything else. So this is what the Red Bank looks like right now. I think it's looking pretty good, and we'll be getting some more blooms as this warm weather heats up. Well, thanks for coming along with me in the garden today and seeing what is blooming and how far along the food forest is and the vegetable garden this time of year, even though we got that late start because of the cold spring we had. And we had to deal with this maple tree, so not a lot's getting put out yet. Still have some things in the greenhouse that need to go out, and a lot of backups still need to go out as well because of the ones I put out and the bugs ate them real quick, or the slugs got them. Lost a lot to slugs, especially marigolds. That front row along the stumps, I still need to replace a couple of the marigolds. But if you saw our maple tree, cutting down the maple tree video, then I talked about having a stump grinder come out. He's going to stump grind the stumps out front as well as this maple stump right there. So we'll get the wood chips and sawdust from that, add it to the pile over there in my garden supplies, and that'll be nice to have some things come out of this maple that we don't just burn it all or lose it. So we still have a lot more to put out and plant, and I keep buying more things, so there's always something to plant. But we're going to keep these garden tours going, try and get them out every week. And if you want to see how this garden progresses over the weeks, over the months, and over the years, then go ahead and subscribe down below and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. Alright, you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching. That's all for this garden tour. I hope you enjoyed walking around the gardens with me this week and seeing what is going on. Can't see. That's all for this week's garden tours. Come here. That's all for this week's garden tours. Hope you enjoyed following me around the gardens this week and seeing what's blooming and growing in the gardens. If you want to see some more, I'll be doing another weekly garden tour next week. It'll be week 5, and we'll see what's going on and what's blooming. So go ahead and subscribe down below and hit that notification bell if you want to see what's going on. Whenever I drop a new video, you can get notified. You can find me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching. Pop. You can find me and Echo. You can find me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.